Hey everybody, it's Miss Kirsten. This is a video today that is for families. Kids can definitely watch if they want to, but this is specifically for families to gather up some information and to also feel a little bit connected in a sense of support. Similar to how the other videos will be run for this channel, we're going to start with a check-in. So I would ask you as a family member to take a moment and sort of check in with yourself and notice how you're feeling right now. What are some of the thoughts that are kind of popping into your head? And as you're noticing those thoughts, how are those thoughts making you feel? What are some of the feelings that are connected to those thoughts? And then lastly, as you notice some of those thoughts and then the feelings that are connected to them, maybe notice a little bit of where those feelings are in your body, where you're experiencing those feelings in your body. So are you, if you're feeling a little bit tense right now, do you notice that your stomach muscles might be clenched? Do you notice that you might be clenching your jaw or kind of holding your facial muscles a little bit tightly? One of the common areas for us to put any feelings are into our shoulders. So let's take a moment right now and just sort of notice that. Notice where our feelings, whatever they are, where they're showing up in our body. If there is a part of your body that feels like it might be having a reaction that doesn't feel great to you, a reaction to one of your feelings, right now, just put a little bit of attention towards that and maybe take a few deep breaths. And you can even imagine that that breath that you're taking, that you're directing it towards that area of your body, that part of your body that might be holding some of your feelings right now. Along with our check-in, I really want to send the message to everybody that you are doing great. That whatever you are, whatever those thoughts are, whatever those feelings are that right now you're experiencing and that you have been experiencing, that they are incredibly normal and to be expected, that you are doing the best you can right now in a very unusual and unprecedented situation. I want to just remind folks that they can show up and they have permission to show up exactly as they are right now. That's always the case, but I think especially in challenging times, it can be really helpful to remember that you have permission to just be where you are in this moment, that you are going to be riding some emotional waves right now for sure, and that it's really typical for you to feel one way in one moment and then feel exactly the opposite in the next moment. As I have been describing to your family member that I work with over the past year, what happens next is that we think about what are the tools that we can use during this period of time that can help us to feel better. For right now, I would like to share some information with you and some thoughts, and then we can also talk a little bit about, and I can share a little bit about some tools that might be helpful during this time. I think the big message that I would really like to communicate, along with the fact that whatever you're feeling is normal, and that I just trust that you are doing the best you can, is that I also realize that there's a lot of stress on families right now to be showing up for their kids as parents and caregivers, as teachers, as social workers, as playmates, that you are all holding so many roles and so many expectations. And there is just so much stress that can come with that. There's also a lot of joy that can be experienced, and it can be really helpful to really make a point to notice those moments that do feel joyful, that do feel really special and unique to this time. But there's also a lot of increased stress. So again, I think just acknowledging that is true, that you are not alone. Those of you who are on social media are probably seeing that so many parents are struggling with those same feelings of being overwhelmed. The other piece of that is that this is one of those moments where we have we have many things that we're doing, but we have two things that we're doing as caregivers. We are trying to take care of ourselves in a really challenging time when we ourselves are experiencing a tremendous amount of stress, our own anxieties and fears about our health, our loved ones' health, about finances, about so many different things that we're trying to both manage our own emotions, and then we're also there to support our younger family members through this time. I want to throw out there that the rest of what I have to say right now is said with such gentleness, and the overarching theme is that I do not want parents to feel more stressed out by this information I'm going to share, and in fact really hope that it can feel like it's supportive and that it is offering a little bit of a roadmap for how we can be moving through these challenging times and help us to manage a little bit of the fear. One of the things that's probably coming up that I think families are thinking about is, what impact is this having on my child's mental health? Some of you may have children in your families that you're a caregiver for who already have some anxiety, who already have big feelings that are hard for them to regulate. You're probably extra concerned for them right now. We know more about this idea of trauma, and I know it's a big word that I'm throwing out there in terms of the weight of that word, but what we know about trauma is that it is an experience where something really scary and sort of out of control, or when somebody feels out of control and something scary is happening to them. The thing, though, about trauma is that not every experience that feels scary or out of control has to be experienced as trauma. That, in fact, for children, how we as caregivers, how we frame what is happening, how we explain it, how we manage the experience as best we can, and I really mean as best we can, how we do that actually really can impact whether or not an experience for a child is traumatic. So again, really do not want parents to feel stress or judgment around that. I really just want to provide information so that families can feel empowered to know that this does not necessarily have to be experienced as a traumatic event for the children in their lives.